Alright, so we're going to start with a little bit of a review. We want to start by plotting some points. Remember, it's x comma y. That's a mistake that still happens as we go on, even after Algebra 1, where we switch those y and x, where we do x1, x2. So a is negative 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, to the left, up 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's point A. Point B is at 2, 5, over 2, up 5. Point E is at 5, 0. Point F is at 0, negative 1. Point C is at 0, 1. And point D is at 1, 4. Now the question's down here, what's the relationship between AB and EF? So we got to be able to draw a line first. So let's draw the segment AB. Let's draw the segment EF. And let's draw the segment CD. Okay. So, relationship between AB and EF. Remember, relationships for lines are either intersecting, parallel, or skew. Are those two lines, AB and EF, ever going to cross? The answer is no, because they're in the same plane and they're going up and over at the same rate. So AB and EF, let me number these, I didn't leave myself any space. Oops. So the first ones are parallel. Now, AB and CD, it looks like they don't cross. That's just because I didn't extend it far enough. CD really extends up here, so they do cross, and they cross just so that they're intersecting. Alright, we're going to be doing slopes of lines all throughout this video. So, slope equation, you have 2 points, x1, y1, x2, y2. The slope equation was y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Hopefully you remember that from Algebra 1. If not, be sure you write it down right now. So let's find the slope. I'm going to go ahead and label them. As we go, I'm going to stop labeling them when we get more comfortable. So slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 5 minus 4 is 1. 2 minus the negative 3 is 5. So my slope is 1/5. Down here, x1, y1, x2, y2, negative 1 minus 0 over 0 minus 5. Negative 1 over negative 5. Let's simplify that to 1/5. And let's go ahead and do the last one. M equals negative 4 minus 1 over 1 minus 0. We get negative 5 over 1, or you could just write that as, let's write it as an actual number, negative 5. So we've got our three slopes, 1/5, 1/5, and negative 5. Now, take a look at these. If you notice, these points here are actually the points that we graphed here. So when we look at them, we saw which two were parallel, and we saw that this one was intersecting. So lines that are parallel was AB and EF. What do you notice about their slopes? Well, they're the same. Lines that are perpendicular, think back to Algebra 1, they have the opposite reciprocal. So perpendicular slopes, if M was 1/5, the perpendicular slope is flip it and switch it. Take the fraction, flip it, and switch the sign. Since this one's positive, I'm going to make it negative. So I get negative 5 over 1. I'm just rewriting it. negative 5 over 1. If I had a slope of 3/4, the perpendicular slope is negative 4/3. So, what is the slope of a line parallel to Km if K and M are those? So, slope of a line parallel, that really just means find the same slope. So just find the slope. 8 minus 10 over x2 minus x1. 8 minus 10 is negative 2. 2 minus a negative 4 is positive 2. Simplify that to negative 1. Here's the parallel slope. Perpendicular slope, we flip the fraction. Negative 1 over 1, we flip it and switch the sign. So the perpendicular slope is positive 1. Great. You're given 4 points. We need to find are Km and St parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So we need to find two slopes. We're going to find the slope of Km, and we're going to find the slope of St. So, y2 minus y1 gets you negative 10 over 6. Let's go ahead and simplify that to negative 5/3. Over here, let's find the slope. You got negative 5 minus 4 over 6 minus 0. Negative 9 over 6. When you simplify that fraction, you get negative 3 over 2. They're not the same. They're not opposite reciprocals, so the answer is neither. Okay, let's find the slope of each line. I can plug in the points, I can work it out like that, or I can find the slope on the graph. Remember, slope is rise over run. So when I find the slope of line P, I count, I go up 1, 2, 3, up 4, over 1, 2, 3. Since I go up 4 and over 3, remember slope is also called rise over run. So I go up 4 and over 3. For this one, let's change colors. I go down 1, 2. Since I'm going down 2, that's a negative 2. And then I go to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up and to the right are positive, down and to the left are always negative. So I think it's easier to find slope off a graph. If you wanted to write it out into an equation, you absolutely can. Okay, so graph the line that contains negative 3, 3 and has a slope of 4/3. So find negative 3, negative 3. Call that point P. And it has a slope of 4/3, which means rise over run is 4/3. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I always try to plot a couple points because then I know that I'm going to be a little bit more accurate. Let me get some arrows on the ends of my line. There we go. So make sure you always plot the line with arrows because it is a line going on forever. It's not a line segment. Okay, graph the line that contains negative 3, 0. Let's go ahead and just plot negative 3, 0 while we're here. Point Z, and it needs to be perpendicular to EK. And EK has points negative 2, 4, and 2, negative 2. So let's just go ahead and just draw in that line real quick. I'm just going to draw it in as a segment. Now to find the perpendicular slope, I first need to find the slope of EK. So when I go to find the slope of EK, I'm going to do rise over run. I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope was up 6 to the left 4. So that's negative 3/2. But I need to find the slope perpendicular. So my perpendicular slope is positive 2 over positive 3. So when I go to plot that, I want to start at Z and go up 2 to the right 1, 2, 3. Up 2 to the right 1, 2, 3. Up 2 again to the right 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to draw a straight line. Let's get some arrows on the ends. Okay. Notice now, because I drew perpendicular lines, the angle in the middle is a right angle. Perpendicular lines intersect at a right angle, making it a 90-degree angle.